Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Wednesday, the 9th day of May, the 24th day of IYAR. Here we go. You know, Shavuos is getting close, and I want to spend a couple of days telling us special thoughts on the holiday of Shavuos, and then some of the Shavuos. There are a couple of laws that we need to know too. First thought on the holiday of Shavuos is, when you look at the description of the holiday of Shavuos in the Torah, something very interesting happens. When the holiday of Pesach, for example, is announced in the Torah, it's kind of simple. God tells us that on the 15th, on the 14th of Nisan, you will bring the Pesach sacrifice. On the 15th of Nisan, you'll have the holiday of Pesach, and Hashem, delineates all the everythings and all the dates, etc. When it comes to the holiday of Sukkot, God tells us very clearly that on the 15th of Tishrei, we will have the holiday of Sukkot. Okay, God doesn't actually, use the names Tishrei and Nisan, but He calls them like the first month and the seventh month. But okay, we know which months that He means, and He announces the exact date, and that's how we have the holidays. When it comes to the holiday of Shavuos, He does not do that. God just tells us that on the second day of Pesach, you shall bring a sacrifice that's called Omer, and then He tells us, and then you shall count 50 days and then 49 days, sorry, and then he tells us that on the 50th day you'll have the holiday of Shavuos, and that's it. No date is listed. I mean, you could kind of figure it out because it's the 50th day after the second day of Pesach, but it's so strange because the other holidays, Rosh Hashanah, we're told clearly the date of Rosh Hashanah and Pesach and Sukkot, and yet when it comes to the holiday of Shavuos, God alludes to the date by telling us it's the 50th day after we begin the counting of Omer, but He never actually comes out and says the date. So I heard one beautiful answer that I really like, and it's this. I'm going to add in my own little twist here and tell you that, we have Mother's Day coming up in a couple of weeks, and you actually will find no mention of Mother's Day in the Shulchan Aruch or anything in Judaism, and it makes it look like the secular nations around us respect Mother more than we do, and nothing could be farther from the truth. It's just that when they make Mother's Day, what they're doing is they're making like a one day when you kind of note your mother, and you act extra good to your mother, and that's all good and wonderful. I'm not knocking that, but what it kind of does is it leaves the rest of the year as just kind of fluff. The rest of the year is not Mother's Day, and you know that people in our generation are not so always respectful to their mom and dad. Well, the way the Torah sees it is not that way. You do not designate a special day and say, this is the day to notice mom. The way the Torah sees it is that God made it one of the 10 commandments, that you respect your parents. And that's it. And that's 24/7, 365 days a year you respect your parents, and we don't lock it into one day. Well, if you accept that, the same kind of thing is going to apply to Torah. God says, I want the Jews involved in the learning of Torah all year long, 24/7, 300 and can't say 65 because we follow the lunar year, but you know what I mean. 24/7, all year long, we study the Torah, and there's not going to be a Torah day. And therefore, when God comes to describe the holiday of Shavuos, He says, I'm not actually going to put a date on it and lock it into one date. What I want to do instead is I want to tell you, count the time, you'll figure out when it is, but no date is particularly carved away to be Torah Day. Torah Day is always. That's the point. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.